The sun was sinking behind the old brick buildings, painting the sky in soft orange hues when little Ethan sat outside his mother's small toy repair shop, clutching a broken race car in his trembling hands. His small fingers were dirty, his eyes swollen from tears. The words he'd just heard still echoed painfully inside his mind. Inside the shop, his mother, Lena, still wearing her oil-stained apron, was trying to stand after being shoved to the floor. Her lip was bleeding, her face streaked with fear and exhaustion. 3 burly men wearing factory uniforms had just stormed in, demanding the weekly payment for protection. When she refused and saying she couldn't afford it, one of them grabbed her by the arm, another laughed cruelly, and the third snatched Ethan's toy car from the counter. "Nice shop you got here," the leader sneered. "Too bad you'll lose it if you don't pay up." Then, with a smirk, he threw the toy on the ground, smashing it under his boot. Ethan screamed and tried to grab it, but the man shoved him aside. The men left, their laughter echoing down the street. Rain began to fall, washing away the dust but not the hurt. Ethan cried quietly, his little voice breaking as he whispered, "They broke my toy and hit my mom." Moments later, the low thunder of motorcycle engines rolled in from down the road. A group of bikers, the Iron Souls Motorcycle Club, appeared, their headlights slicing through the mist. At the front rode Ryder, a man with a rugged beard, deep gray eyes, and a calm that carried power. When he saw Lena's bruised face and Ethan's tears, he stopped his engine, removed his helmet, and knelt beside the boy. "Who did this to you?" Ryder asked softly. Ethan sniffled and pointed toward the looming silhouette of the gray steel factory. "They broke my toy and hit my mom." The air went still. Ryder's jaw tightened. He turned toward his men. None of them spoke, but the look they exchanged was enough. Justice had just been summoned. Night had fallen over the town. Inside the Iron Souls clubhouse, a single lamp flickered over a table covered in tools, wrenches, and chrome bike parts. The air smelled of gasoline and purpose. Ryder stood at the head of the table, holding Ethan's broken toy car in his calloused hands. "They think they can hit a woman, scare a kid, and walk away?" he said, his voice steady but cold. "Not tonight." Tank, the biggest of the bikers, with tattoos curling up his neck, slammed his fist on the table. "Let's burn their factory down." Ryder shook his head. "No, we don't fight fire with fire. We fight it with truth and strength. We'll make them understand fear without losing who we are." He began to repair the toy car right there, using a small screwdriver and spare part. The men watched in silence as he fixed it, piece by piece and as if restoring something sacred. When he finished, the little car rolled perfectly across the table. "This," Ryder said, "belongs to a brave kid. And tonight we ride for him." Engines roared to life one after another until the whole street shook. The sound wasn't noise, it was a vow. Lena and Ethan stood at the doorway as the bikers lined up. Ryder stopped, turned back, and crouched beside Ethan again. "Don't be afraid anymore," he said, handing the repaired toy back. "We'll take care of this." Ethan hugged him tightly, whispering, "Please don't get hurt." Ryder smiled faintly. "We won't, but someone else will learn what hurt feels like." The motorcycles thundered into the night, red taillights, glowing like streaks of fire. The gray steel factory loomed like a sleeping giant under the storm clouds. The guards from earlier were at the gate, laughing, smoking, and bragging about how they'd taught that woman a lesson. Then the ground began to vibrate. One of them frowned. "You hear that?" The next moment, and headlights cut through the darkness. The Iron Souls rolled in, forming a perfect circle around the guards. Engines growled. Leather glistened in the rain. Ryder stepped off his bike and walked toward the men, his boots splashing through puddles. "You think you're tough?" he said quietly. "Try that with someone who fights back." The guard who'd hit Lena tried to swing first, and a mistake. Ryder caught his arm, twisted it, and slammed him to the ground. Tank grabbed another, tossing him into a pile of crates. The third tried to run, but found his way blocked by a wall of roaring bikes. Within minutes, the guards were on the ground, unbruised, terrified, humiliated. Ryder didn't smile. He simply took a can of red spray paint from his pocket and wrote on the factory gate, "Respect the people or face the Iron Souls." Police sirens wailed in the distance, but the bikers were already gone, ghosts in the rain. The next morning, the factory boss arrived, pale and sweating. He handed Lena a check, stammering apologies, promising her safety and her shop's freedom. Outside, Ethan ran after the sound of distant engines. On the ground, he found something, a metal badge shaped like a gear, engraved with the Iron Soul's symbol. He smiled through his tears, clutching his fixed toy car. For the first time, he felt safe. As the bikers disappeared down the highway, the morning sun rose, and the words Ryder had spoken echoed in Ethan's heart. Even small hands can build big courage, and sometimes, justice rides on two wheels.